I don't think British people invented chicken, broccoli and rice.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This week we are gonna ask, can you veganise traditional bodybuilding meals? Not that I'm a bodybuilder or even remotely close to being one, but that is kind of where my goals best align to, and the angle of this channel is high protein vegan food. So I took some of our favourite bodybuilders' classic meals and had a look at whether you can veganise them. I wanted to see whether you could match for calories, macros, hopefully price, some classic bodybuilding meals. If you're interested in cutting back your animal products or just looking to try some different things out, but you are still quite nutrition conscious, hopefully you will get something out of this video. I didn't do, hours and hours of research in this video trying to work out, what is the optimum bodybuilder lifestyle. But if you're a person who consumes any kind of bodybuilding content on the internet, you will know that there are lots and lots of different ways that people like to eat. Having said that, I wanted to pick some relatively healthy but relatively simple meals. I looked at some of the most popular muscle building, bodybuilding YouTube channels. I didn't pick Matt Does Fitness because, let's be real, if I did, I'd be in Christmas themed food or, a toddler's diet, and that's not what I was going for. So some of the people I looked at were Chris Bumstead, Mike Houston and Joe Delaney. I've made a few high protein videos before, so I made some high protein meal prep, I've made high protein breakfasts, I've done high protein meals in general. I specifically ruled some meals out, so I've already made French toast, I've already made protein pancakes, and they are, especially anabolic French toast, that is one of the things you think of, but I've already made wraps, so I didn't want to make something you've already seen me make 20,000 times. It's worth mentioning as well that a lot of food that bodybuilders eat is already vegan. The 2/3 of chicken, rice and broccoli is already there. Porridge is already vegan. Fruit, veg, a lot of the stuff that people eat that makes up the bulk of a healthy diet or even a traditional bodybuilding diet is vegan already. There are some things that aren't vegan but are ridiculously easy to swap, like protein powders, plant milks. If anything, you've got a lot more choice with plant milks because you can pick a milk that meets your requirements. But protein powder, protein bars, all very easy to swap. So what I should mention as well is when I planned all of these meals out, I matched calorie for calorie, because for a lot of people that's going to be the driving factor is overall deficit, maintenance, surplus, whatever it is. So I first matched calorie for calorie rather than matching the macros. So we're going to start simple. I took inspiration from Joe Delaney's most recent full day of eating, and he started his day off with some yogurt, some bran flakes, banana and almonds, I think it was. 3 out of those 4 things are already vegan. Banana, bran flakes, almonds are already vegan. So all I had to solve was
the yogurt problem.
So I'm quids in already. For the yogurt, I used Alpro Greek style yogurt that I got from Tesco for £1, and he used the Arla Skyr yogurt, which is like £1.25 or something. So price wise, they're very, very similar. So when you match these yogurts up, calorie wise, there's quite a bit more fat in the Alpro yogurt because the Skyr is fat free, but we're also not there on protein either. You could quite easily address this by mixing a little bit of protein powder in with the yogurt, which is probably what I would do were I to have this meal again. Having said that, you do get some bonus fibre with the Alpro stuff that you don't get with the Skyr. So as a match, I'm going to give that a 5 out of 10. But like I said, whack a little bit of protein powder in there and you're probably gonna get the vast majority of the way there. The next absolute classic is scrambled egg on toast. This seems to be the bodybuilder lunch or breakfast absolute staple, along with oatmeal porridge and an egg white omelette, they seem to be like the absolute gold standard of bodybuilder breakfasts. Again, we're on for a bit of a winner here because particularly in the UK, most basic bread recipes are vegan already. And if you look at the Mike Thurston video that I used as inspiration, he had tomatoes and spinach, again, in his already vegan, sorted. Buying vegan butter or spread, again in the UK, is actually really easy because our main brand, Flora, is, I think, almost all of their products are now vegan, but buying vegan bread and a vegan spread in a supermarket, super simple. Now, if we look at the calorie match for whole eggs and tofu, they are remarkably similar. If anything, tofu slightly outperforms eggs when you match for calories because there's more protein, less fat, and you get a bit of fibre that you just don't get with eggs. The tofu that I use works out as about 76 pence a portion, and you can get 3 eggs for as cheap as like 50p, 45p, so it is a bit more expensive, the tofu, but that price of eggs depends on how happy you want the chickens to have been. So I just looked at what the cheapest free range eggs were on the Tesco website. The big conundrum here, the big elephant in the room, is egg whites. No self-respecting bodybuilder is having scrambled eggs without at least some egg whites in them. And I will admit defeat here that even though there are thousands of egg white substitutes for various reasons, so for baking or pancakes or whatever, and the big one is aquafaba, which texturally is very similar to egg whites and behaves very similarly to egg whites, it is nowhere near there on the protein front. Egg whites basically are exclusively protein with very little fat. So again, purely nutritionally, you could replace this with protein powder. So if you were really committed, like I am, to veganism, you could just have your tofu scramble and have like a little shot of protein shake or something on the side, but there isn't as far as I know, there isn't a like-for-like equivalent. I also don't recommend putting protein powder in your tofu scramble. Meal for meal, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I've deducted a few points for lack of egg white substitute, but like I said, you could just have a shot of protein powder on the side and you'll be fine. The next 2 meals are very similar, but again, equally staple. Our first one is salmon, rice and broccoli. I don't know why bodybuilders love broccoli so much, but they do. And chicken, sweet potato and broccoli. We did at least mix it up and have 2 different types of broccoli because, you know, I love broccoli, but even I don't want to eat the same type of broccoli steamed like 4 days in a row. Of these 2 meals that have got 3 ingredients each, 4 of the ingredients are already vegan: rice, broccoli, sweet potato, done. But now it's time for the real MVP of vegan protein to come out to play, and that is Seitan. When matched as closely as I can for calories, it is very similar to chicken breast in terms of its macronutrient profile, and it does slightly beat out salmon in terms of protein. It's also got very minimal fat because it's wheat is a plant. We're also going to win here cost-wise as well. So I buy my Vital Wheat gluten, which is the main component of Seitan, I buy it in like 2.5 kilo bags, and I worked it out and it costs about 15 pence for a 40 gram portion. Now, if you add a couple of pence on for some vegetable stock or garlic or spices or anything like that you do to flavour it, at the most we're probably talking 25 pence a portion. I'm pretty sure you can't buy a chicken breast or a salmon fillet for 25 pence. Even if it was 50 pence, it's still like, what, a third, a quarter of the price? How much is chicken breast these days? I've absolutely no idea. So I'm gonna give this swap, at least nutritionally, a solid 10 out of 10. You can use Seitan in very similar ways. You can flavour it however you want. Everybody just dunks it in ketchup anyway, right? So in terms of meals, we've got some pretty solid swaps there. And what I will say though is I haven't assessed any of these from a micronutrient profile perspective. So the easiest one to think of is a lot of people eat salmon for the fatty acids and the omegas that you get from it. I'm pretty sure that Seitan doesn't have any omegas in it. So that is something to consider. But to be honest, I didn't want to make this a like 30-minute video picking apart each of the different micronutrients in each of the different products, but that is something you might want to take into consideration as well. I'm also not sat here trying to convince you that being vegan is the only way to eat, but hopefully this has given you some ideas of potential swaps you can make, and maybe you're sick of eating chicken, broccoli and rice and you want to mix it up a little bit. I also haven't accounted for taste preferences in this video, and seitan definitely doesn't taste like chicken, nor does it taste like salmon. Tofu doesn't really taste like egg. Obviously they don't taste bad, otherwise I wouldn't eat them. I'm not like fat by accident, and I've been vegan for 5 years, so they clearly are not horrible, but they don't taste the same, and I'm not suggesting that they do taste the same. But to be honest, if you know how to cook tofu or seitan well, you'll get it to taste pretty good. But to be honest, chicken breast and egg whites taste like shit on their own anyway, don't they? That's all for today's video. I hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments if you've got any swaps that you can think of that I didn't cover in this video. I hope you have a really lovely week, and I will see you on Wednesday.